now from Georgia by civil rights activist Martin Luther King III, the eldest son of the late Martin Luther King. Good to speak to you this morning. I think we all just sort of sat back and reeled at the scenes. What was your reaction as you saw it unfold?
Well, first of all, greatly disappointed in the system of democracy breaking down. But the fault, in my judgment, belongs only on the shoulders of the commander-in-chief. It is never happened, at least not in recent times, where a commander-in-chief will have those who are his supporters to come in and attack the government that he's supposed to be overseeing. In some senses, this is sedition or treason or something. It's a very sad day, and tragically, people lost their lives because people lost control out of anger and frustration because they've been lied to constantly by the president.
Of course, he would say, I'm not a Trump apologist, I'm not here to put his case, but he would say it's because he feels the system's unjust, he feels he's been wronged, he feels his supporters have been wronged, and they were taking direct action against that.
But that's not nothing wrong with protesting. No one has a problem with protesting. But when protesting becomes violent and hostile and things are broken, that is not the way to really protest something that you disagree with. And the fact of the matter is, if the president had told the truth, those supporters probably would not be acting this way. They may feel this way, but he is the one who directly is responsible for this crazy behavior that we've not seen in many, many years. And it's a very, very sad day, and it's going to take time to rebuild confidence, not just in the system, but confidence just in general, and to bring America together. But I certainly think President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris up for the task.
Donald Trump still has a few weeks in that position as president. Do you think he will survive, or do you think he should go now? What's your feeling about his behaviour? Certainly yesterday, watching the speech that he put on a tweet describing the protesters as special. He was asking them to stand down, but he understood their pain. What do you think should happen to Donald Trump now?
Well, I think that, technically by law, the president is there until the 20th. Leaves on the 20th. And while maybe he should leave, I don't expect that to happen. I would be very surprised. I know some have talked about discussions of calling on the 25th Amendment, but I don't think there's enough time to go through that process. So the question is, what is he going to do for the next, roughly 10 days? That is what is probably going to be most frightening, because he is tearing up the government at every step of the way. And that is so tragic. Again, people win and lose elections every day. And it's how you rise when you fall. It's not that you sustain yourself by telling lies to people, your supporters, which is what this president is constantly doing, telling lies to the public.
How has America got to this stage whereby his supporters have been whipped into a frenzy with him, or through their disillusionment with what's happening with American politics, to the point where they feel like they can invade such an important building that's such a sort of a bastion for democracy within America, and certainly across the world as well, and they feel like they can behave like that, and they have sort of no concern about the consequences of their actions?
Well, again, this is the president has called for this kind of activity over and over again. He's been, I believe in the debate, he said, stand down, but stand by, which is, I'm giving my supporters a signal that I want you to do something, but not right this moment. But this has been going on for 4 years. He has been stirring up resistance, resentment, hostility, racism. All of these chords have been awakened because of his leadership. And fortunately, 81 million people came together and decided that we wanted to elect a different leader, which is a blessing for our nation, and really a blessing for the world, in my judgment. But the fact of the matter is, it is the conduct exclusively of him that has created all of what we are seeing today. and what we'd even seen before today.
I mean, you are a human rights campaigner in your own right. You've dedicated your life to putting forward causes and working on all sorts of things. Your dad, very famous for the protests that he started and the achievements of those protests and that movement as well. What do you think he would make of the direct action last night? Of course, I'm sure he wouldn't have been having the same ideals as them, but do you think it would be uncomfortable for him to see that kind of action?
Well, yes. I mean, again, we all support people's rights to protest, but it's how you choose to protest. And when it resorts to violence and hostility, I mean, and you know, there's a double standard here if you look at it. When Black Lives Matter were protesting peacefully, there were goo gobs of policemen, and they used rubber bullets and tear gas to dismantle peaceful protesters. These women and men just broke down the system, came through, and you know, either it feels like the police were not prepared, the Capitol was not prepared. They knew this was going to happen. They knew that the protests were going to take place. I just don't understand how it evolves to this point where you don't have enough police in place to protect these important institutions and people in general, the public in general. That's what law enforcement's job is, to protect and serve the public. And today it was a failure, a huge failure for some reason, poor planning. I mean, I think there's going to have to be some new assessment of what has happened. Maybe somebody needs to be fired, because there's no way that, you know, our United States Capitol and the offices of some of our congresspersons and maybe senators, that people should have gone in and conducted themselves in this uncivil way. I mean, this is barbaric.
There's a certain irony, isn't there?
And it's white privilege at its worst.
There's a certain irony, isn't there, that you're sort of invoking that phrase that was Donald Trump's catchphrase for so many years, "You're fired," from The Apprentice, the stage which launched certainly his profile to the masses around the world.
He wouldn't have walked out of the boardroom, would he, in as calm way as the people he fired?
No, quite.
Yeah.
It's been extraordinary to watch those scenes unfold. Undoubtedly, it's going to carry on with regards to the fallout from this. But Martin Luther King III, thank you very much for joining us this morning and offering your thoughts.
Thank you.